Welcome to another episode of Love Sync with both myself, Patrick, and my lovely wife, Christina. We are.
Hi.
It has been a while since you heard from us. We have been very busy with our lives, and we have not forgotten about you. So today's talk, Christina, you have to state what are we talking about.
So today we're gonna talk about the prenup or not prenup. So
And what
actually,
does it mean? What because there in European standards we have no clue what that means, and it might be
okay,
sounding familiar in Asia.
yeah, you're true. That's in Asia. I mean, maybe I'm talking about in Indonesia because I'm living in Indonesia. So, um, if Indonesian married a foreigner, then a prenup it's must thing to do if you still want to like like you still want to do become your country citizens, not moving to the another or your partner's uh, country. I mean citizenship. So prenup is something that you need to do. So
And
is it true that in European is not like familiar with it?
it's already um, something that is arranged when getting married immediately.
Hmm.
Um, we in the Netherlands. I cannot talk about different countries.
True.
Um, because it's not uniform within Europe. This is one of the things that is not uniform in Europe. Um, and when you get married, you have an agreement with each other per the
Hmm.
government. What your stake in the game is basically in your marriage. So that means like what if we are going to divorce and we are not. Spoiler alert. Uh, we we the agreement basically says okay, you can either have like an agreement saying 50-50, so everything you have in your house is split in two,
Hmm.
and you make concessions between each other, like I want to have the couch, you can have the bed, something like that. But there's also the when you have a debt. I have a debt, or Christina has a debt, and when you get married, with that same agreement, you basically take over your partner's debt. There's another form where you basically say we are grown-ups, basically, and we can discuss it as grown-ups, as mature people, to say if we are separating from each other, we will talk it out and say you can have this, you can have that. But at the same time, we also protect ourselves by saying, if you take this form, saying that when you get married and I have a debt or Christina has a debt, it's mine, it's hers. We are not mixing the two together. So if we are getting in trouble, for example, I have a company and my company goes bankrupt, it will not be a problem of Christina's because it is my problem.
Mm.
So that's
Mm.
basically something my government in the Netherlands protects the integrity of the person you are getting married to. It is an option. Most people nowadays takes that option because it safeguards themselves and is also very wise to do it. In regards to children, when we have children and we're getting separated, that same agreement comes also into play only if it's applicable, and if you want to edit it a little bit, or you already have children, you can discuss it with the government on how to deal with sharing the burden of financial support towards children. Not so much of hey, my son is mine, not that, but more the physical, the financial part of it that goes above it. You taking your responsibility. It's I don't know exactly if that is 100% included, but that is how our marriage agreement works, and that is also something we already done back in 2023 when we got married immediately, basically. This, what the print out or print up that we did in Indonesia is slightly different.
Yeah, that's true. So, in other words, I can say that in European, it's not a must thing to do for prenup, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like if you want to do it, you can, but if you don't want to do it, you're not obligated to do it.
But you
So, but
are
it's
attached to strings of possible outcomes that will be in your disadvantage because you don't have it on
mm,
paper.
yeah, but that's also not related to the government. I mean, like
No, it's a
it's
personal.
more like it's agreement between the partner,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's not, it doesn't have a connection with the government. But in Indonesia, we do have a different regulation about it. So actually, the prenup is meant to be to make in related to government. So as Indonesian, the Indonesian citizen will be lose their rights if they married with the foreigner in terms of property, to buying a property, because as an Indonesian, I have my rights to buy some a property. Like for example, if I want to buy a house, then if I want to buy a apartment or such, so it will be my right. But when they married to a foreigner, like in this case we're married, so actually if I lose my rights to have the property, to buy a property. So because there is a regulation um, in Indonesia that foreigner not allowed to have to buy a property in Indonesia. But because I'm married to you, or maybe other people's married to the foreigner, then it they will be lose their rights because it will be like together asset. So after marriage, the asset that we bought after marriage, it will be together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's we separate the asset before marriage and then the asset that we get in marriage term. So if you bought, if we bought the asset after we marriage with foreigner, like for example, maybe I can say in this case, if I married, not if I already married. So when I married to Patrick, and then I lose, I automatically lose my rights to have to buy a property in Indonesia after I registered our marriage in Indonesia. But this prenup, it's a must thing to do if you still want, if we still want to have a property in Indonesia. Why? Because if I still want to be an Indonesian citizen, and Patrick will be still and the Dutch citizen, Netherlands citizen as a Dutch. So it means because I don't want to lose my rights and I still want to have my property in Indonesia after we're married. So I need to make the prenup.
It's also
That's the
future proofing. People will be asking, but hey, most likely thinking like, hey, wait a minute, you are married to a Dutchman. Why are you not going to? You going to live in Europe? Why you want to
mhm.
stay? Have the ability to buy something, and it's future proofing for us. We already discussed this. We already discussed the options about what our future will be, and we already agreed with the fact that we want to have a life here in the Netherlands. We want to build that up, but later in the future, we want also to buy a house back in Indonesia, where we will move to in the future. Not right now, but in the future.
No,
And
I mean,
it,
yeah, we still don't know about the future, but the case is like because we still don't know what will be happen in the future,
mm,
and then I'm currently I I still want to be an Indonesian and not move, and not become a Dutch citizen, even though, yeah, maybe one day I will be moving to the Netherlands, and then maybe one day also Patrick will be moving to Indonesia. We don't know yet, but that's why we need to like thinking about every possibilities that we can do right now. So, but
Hmm.
currently I know that I'm not moving to. I mean, like I'm not becoming a Dutch citizen.
She
So
is
that's
moving towards the Netherlands, just for the confirmation. She is, but that's a work in
I will.
progress.
I will.
But it's more like
Yeah.
she doesn't
But
want to be a Dutch citizen right now because she will lose her rights as an Indonesian
yeah.
citizen. Because the Dutch do allow dual citizenship, Indonesian does not. That's the downgrade
No.
of it.
No. And also because my family and my friend is still like in Indonesia, so I know that I can like visit them anytime. But I think to move and then to become a Dutch citizen, it's another.
Level.
There's a lot of thinking and process, and then
Yeah.
it's not easy to move to become a Dutch citizen. Yeah, that's for sure. So currently, I'm not thinking to go that way first because we still need to build our life first. So we're thinking about a lot of possibilities that we can do in both countries, Netherlands and Indonesia. So currently, um, the first thing first is to make the
Prenup.
prenup, and then we're back to the topic is prenup, and then the prenup itself is like to protect my rights and Indonesian citizens' rights to still have a property even though we're married with the foreigner. So it's a must thing to do if you still want to have your rights. If you don't want, if you didn't want, if you didn't thinking to buy a property or to have it, or maybe you want, yeah, one day I will move I will move abroad and then I will move the cities, become their citizen. You might not uh, bother to think about the prenup, but if you still want to have that right, you need to make a prenup. It's prenuptial agreement. It's like premarital agreement. It's between you and your partner, and then also the government that every properties that you bought, it's under your name. It's not become your partner, which is a foreigner uh, asset. So
Okay.
it will be still on your under your name.
Okay. So
So
how to get a clarification for people that are foreigner and going to have to deal with this as marrying to, in this case, an Indonesian. Um, what kind of process can they expect? What in a government organization will they be involved with, or
mhm,
what needs to be done to get this paper?
yeah. So it's another level of documents that we need to do after to register the documents, the marriage documents. It's also, yeah, there's a lot of paper as Indonesian that need to register and then to prepare. So before that, before I answer that, actually, we didn't make the prenup because currently, as after I do have a friend that work as
Lawyer.
notaris.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, yeah, well,
I know,
notaris,
I know that is
notaris.
yes.
Yeah, so I asked him that no, it's okay. It's okay to if you're not making the a prenup yet before marriage,
Hmm.
it's okay because you still can make a postnup. It's prenup and postnup. So prenup is made if you can
Before.
make before your marriage, it's fine. But if you cannot make it before marriage, it's you can also make a postnup. It's postnuptial agreement. It's you make that after you two guys getting married.
Hmm.
So it's also fine. So you can make it in the lawyer office and then to notaris, PPAT in Indonesia we call it. So it's also possible to make after marriage. Don't worry, but don't make it too long. Don't wait it too long. That's I don't know there any limit time after you guys married or not, but I think the sooner the better to make it.
It makes it
And
less complicated. If you wait
yes,
longer, it
true.
becomes more complicated.
And more documents to do, I think. I don't know. But so we start with the process is I contact my notaris, my friend, and then I ask him what is the requirements to make it. The requirement is the ID, KTP, both. Um, Me and Patrick also do that. So you and your partner, and then your marriage license from both countries. So I did I give the Dutch license to marriage, and then also the Indonesian one, the from the embassy, and then also from the catatan sipil. So I will say it in Indonesia. Syaratnya adalah KTP dan kopi paspor dari kamu sama pasangan. Terus lalu ada surat nikah yang dari negara tempat pasangan kamu sama dari Indonesia. Kalau kamu nikahnya di luar, berarti kamu harus ada dari KBRI, dari embassy, dan juga harus dari tanda lapor di catatan sipil. After that is I think that's all ya. I think that's all. That's the requirement. That's the old requirement. And then after that, you just need to make sure your partner is in Indonesia because you need to make it in Indonesia
So yeah.
because that's a Indonesian regulation. So you need to be your partner and you need to be in Indonesia and then to go to that lawyer office. Sorry,
She
sorry,
something
accident.
happens.
So because I'm so excited.
Hmm. So basically, yes, I was
Yeah.
last year there,
Yeah.
back in Indonesia, and we went to the notaris to fix these papers, basically, because I needed to be there. I needed
Yeah.
to confirm. I needed to show my ID and confirmation, and the details were kind of the same as the paperwork that you have right here in the Netherlands. Um, the only small detail that I did not expect was what to do with the children, because that's a different category here in the Netherlands in a retrospect towards what Indonesia have with this paper, because we need to
Yeah. So
address.
so I continue.
Yeah.
Yeah. uh,
No, go ahead.
Yeah. Before we're going there, so after hello,
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
some communications
after you
problems.
register, yeah. So after you like deal with the lawyer and then with the notaries
Mm-hmm.
about all of the requirement, and then you deal with the price, of course, and then they will send you the draft.
Mm-hmm.
It's a standard draft from the lawyer that
Mm-hmm.
will be filled with the standard regulation that will for the agreement.
Yeah.
So it will be it will be written with the yeah, about the assets, about the family, and then if there will be a divorce and then have a kid, what will be happen with the kids and such. So you just really need to read it clearly because there's how many pages there? Many, yeah.
Money. Yeah.
But
And I
yeah, just
well,
make
it
sure.
was about 10 pages, I think, because I
I
had
think it's
to
more.
I had to put my signature almost on every one of them. So
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the part of the process. So yeah, there will be just like make sure. you just make sure you read it, every detail of it, and then if you guys want to change a little bit or maybe add or remove, that's also possible. That's why after you make an appointment with the lawyer, after you read all of the paper, you just need to meet the lawyer, and then they will ask you, okay, they will read it as usual, they will read it in front of you, and then they will ask you, did you agree with this or not, both of you. So okay, and then they will ask like for example, back then Patrick asking a few questions, and then there was a discussion between us. So because there's a few concern in that terms for us, like for example, um, the divorce and then the kids, and then who will be take care of the kids uh, if both of us dead or maybe divorce, and then what will be happen. So you need to answer, you need to prepare the answer because they need to write it on the paper.
Mm-hmm.
So before you going to the lawyer, just make sure you have every answer that they need from you, and both of you is agreed. And then also Patrick back then adding a few, uh, there are a few things, yeah, I think, but we cannot say it in here because it's secret.
It's a privacy thing,
So yeah, yeah, that's
but
true.
it's
But
it's to
mhm,
safeguard ourselves, but also our future family. Uh,
yeah,
yeah.
but I always just like make sure they're written as it will be a separate asset. If I have an asset in Indonesia after we married, that will be under my name and that will be mine, even though we bought it together. So it's still under my name.
So
So yeah,
there's a little clause about that, and then we are nearing the end of this podcast. But the one thing that I was surprised about is that before we got married, we Christina already has an asset. I have an asset, and asset is a really broad term in Indonesia. An asset can mean
yeah,
a house, it can mean a holiday house, it can mean, but also can
a
mean like
car.
a car indeed. And I already have a car in the Netherlands, and it's mine. But the moment that after this agreement is made, and you have an asset, buy a new car, buy a new house, get a different asset, you need Christina needs to inform the Indonesian government about this asset. It's
Yeah,
formality, but it needs to be done.
yeah. But also, I also need to tell them that, hey, I have this prenup, so there there won't be any reason for you to not allow me to have a property. So
Mm.
this is the power of the prenup or postnup. So when you after married, like for example, next week we want to buy an apartment in Indonesia because I already stated as a married with foreigner, and then they have no rights to not allow me to buy an apartment under my name because I have those prenup, postnup, sorry. But if you don't have it, then you're not allowed to have to buy it. That's the difference. But I can make sure this only happen. I mean, like this only um prenup, this paper that we made in Indonesia, it's only available in Indonesia. You cannot use it to the Netherlands. It
Netherlands
won't
have a
work.
different
It's only
governmental
yeah,
system and everything, so it's
yeah.
not like,
So
oh, Indonesia has this paper and then the Netherlands will be, yeah, good for you, but
and yeah,
it won't work
it's
here.
not doesn't automatic it's not automatically work in the Netherlands. It's only work for Indonesian government. But after you got your copy of the prenup, you will get it from your lawyer, and then you just need to like don't forget to sign and then follow all of the rules what the lawyer said. And then after you got it in your hand, you have one another task to do before it's valid to the government. So you just need to register your prenup to your dukcapil, to your like gemeente, like a province
Your city,
government.
yeah.
Uh, yeah. So you need to register it in your dukcapil.
And this counts for
College.
Indonesia, not for foreign
Yeah,
countries. So
yeah,
I don't have to do anything about this. This is
yeah.
something that Christina had to
This is the
do
only
in
information.
Jakarta.
Yeah. So I back then we both went to the lawyer, and then after we done with
Notaris.
every paper with the notaris, and then I got the copy. There's a few copy of it, and then after that I need to register in Dukcapil.
Mm.
Di Abis itu aku register ke Dukcapil, and after that it will be valid in this country in Indonesia. So there's no matter what, no matter where I bought, like for example, I bought a villa in Bali, I only need to show it after I register, and then you will get the paper.
Mm.
It's the proof that you already reported to your Dukcapil. So you just make sure keep it in um, very secure places, and then when where you not forgot. So that will be done. But
So
if you don't register to your Dukcapil, that prenup or postnup, it will be valid between you two, your and your partner.
so
So you
to wrap it up a little bit because we are running out of the time. Um, if you are an Indonesian citizen and you want to go marry a foreigner and you want to keep your rights to buy property or assets in Indonesia, you need to get this paper. If you're not,
yeah,
if you have a future to go to a foreign country and you have no interest in getting these assets, this is not really the important podcast you need to learn listen to right now. This episode, at least, the other episodes you can listen. um, and disclaimer: I'm just going to put this because this is a recurring question that we get a lot on our TikTok and on YouTube. Is that this is information we know of Indonesia. This is what information we know about the Netherlands. We do not know about the regulations and law giving in USA or Germany or something like that. These countries are different. They have a different working standard, and especially with this pre-op, Europe is
prenup.
very divided on this because every marriage has a different law and a different setup. So keep that in mind. Hopefully, we can do more podcasts in the future, but we are very busy people and we try our best to make these podcasts available to you. Leave a comment and a like, and hopefully, we will see each other or listen each other in the future. Until then, bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you enjoy it. So if you have any question or share to your experience, feel free to leave it behind in the comment. See you and doei!